Well, good morning. It's great to be in Sun City Center. We have Bob Sullivan, who's the president of the Sun City Center Association, Lynn Reitz, Community Manager, Sun City Center, and Andy Fossa, who's the Emergency Management Director for Pasco, as well as Region 4 Incident Commander. I want to thank everyone for being here. It's excited to be in a market that is has the first home playoff game of the season, just happens to be the Super Bowl. So it's been there was a lot of hope at the beginning of the season. There were some times when it was like, maybe it's not going to happen, but I think what's happened over these last 3 weeks has just been phenomenal for Tampa. We're looking forward to the Super Bowl, and I know they probably haven't been favored in most of these games, at least since the Washington game, but I would take the greatest of all time on my side and go there. So I'm looking forward to it. And I think if they're able to win this one here at home, I think it'll be one of the greatest feats in team sports to have a 43-year-old quarterback win a seventh Super Bowl. So fingers crossed on that. We're going to be looking forward to doing it. But it was a really exciting day on Sunday. And when you have a Stanley Cup championship, your baseball team goes to the World Series, and your football team goes to the Super Bowl, there's a lot of other cities around the country that wish that they could say the same thing. We're here with even more good news than just the Super Bowl, though. Today, we're here to announce, as many of you see, that we have a vaccination site here at Sun City Center, and we call these things pods. We've done it in other parts of the state, basically bringing vaccine to areas where there's a high concentration of elderly folks. And obviously, you're talking, we have the nursing home and long-term care missions been going on from the beginning, but these are missions where these are active seniors. They're not in any type of assisted living. You're able to get in there, have a lot of people come through, and we feel that it's been a good approach to supplement all the other ways people are getting vaccines. So the Sun City Center Community Association is coordinating all the registrations for folks who live in the area, and we've been talking just this morning. I mean, people are in tears to be able to get through. They have a great system set up. The way they're doing it with the registrations, it's going smoothly. They have folks drive through. You see golf carts and cars, both. You can do either one. And they're going to do 1,000 a day over the next 5 days for seniors over 65. And so this is yet another part of our approach to vaccination, which is simply seniors first. And we're the only state in the country that's done over 1 million reported vaccinations for seniors. And I think the next closest state is hundreds of thousands behind the state of Florida. We've also done more vaccinations administered per capita than any state of the most 10 populous states in the country. And we have the highest percentage of our seniors who have been vaccinated. We're almost 23%. Us in West Virginia kind of go back and forth there. Now, West Virginia is obviously much smaller than Florida. So we want to build off the momentum, and we believe that having a pod here in Sun City Center helps to do that. I will also say that there will be a similar pod set up in Central Florida tomorrow in Osceola County at a place called Sola Vida, which is a similar senior community and very active, a lot of good folks there. So we're going to do it. And we also know there's the Kings Point across the street here. And I told my emergency management folks, let's work on seeing if we can get them in maybe next week. So we're going to look to do that. We had success on doing these pods on these sites down in South Florida. We've done places like the Kings Point and Delray Beach, as well as places like Century Village. And I think the seniors appreciated it. And again, it's just a way, when you have all these folks here, many of whom who want it, be able to get here, you can do it efficiently, and you're able to get a lot done in a very short amount of time. We're also continuing some of the state-supported missions that we have across the state. There's 77 community vaccination sites that the state is supporting or running, including the Hard Rock Stadium site down in Miami. We also have our church program, so we've done a number of houses of worship. And then we now are in over 260 Publix pharmacies throughout the state of Florida. So we were able to expand this week into Indian River County and St. Lucie County. So from Palm Beach to St. John's on the East Coast, you have it. We have it in South Florida. We have some in Tampa Bay north of here in places like Hernando, Citrus, and then also in Marion County, and then we have it in the Panhandle. So that's been good for, they're doing 15,000 shots a day just across their Publix locations. So we feel like there's a lot of different ways to be able to do it. So here's kind of where we're at in terms of what we're expecting next week with the vaccines. So if you look, the first full week of January, the 4th through the 10th, that was really when, because we got the big initial dump at Christmas time, and so the hospitals really kicked into gear then. You started to see the numbers really go up. So that first week of January 4th through the 10th, we did about 355,000 initial doses. But that week and every week since, we've been getting about 265,000 new initial doses. So there was a surplus from the Christmas period and New Year's period, but doing 355,000 that first week, and then the next week, the 11th week of January 11th, there were over 455,000 initial doses administered in the state of Florida. And then if you look last week, starting on MLK Day and the reporting still isn't fully complete for that week, but it's already 350,000 plus for that. And again, we got 266,000 doses. So what you're seeing is there's a lot of throughput to be able to get those first doses out. The hospitals have kind of ripped through what they had, and they did have some surplus built up over the holidays. So now what you're seeing is more and more people coming due for the second dose. So we've been getting bigger shipments of the second dose probably as of about 10 days ago. And it's important for folks to remember, particularly for seniors, we are going to give you the second dose. I mean, when people say that somehow this should be used other ways, that is not the way it works. This is approved for a 2-dose regimen, and that's what we're doing. So when you started to see the numbers go up a lot with the senior community, particularly at the beginning of January, you fast forward 3 or 4 weeks, depending on whether it's Pfizer or Moderna, and then you're going to see a lot more of these second doses administered. We're already seeing that in some of the numbers that are coming in, which are very incomplete, in the last 24, 48 hours. Those will go up tremendous. So you're going to start to see 50, 60,000 second doses a day very soon, and that's very important. But when somebody gets a dose at like a hospital and the second doses come in, wherever those doses are administered, the second doses are sent to those places, and they're going to be there for seniors. That's what I think the seniors want. That's what the FDA approved. So when you hear things saying like, well, maybe you could do 6 weeks later and give the booster. Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. That's never been tested. That's never been vetted. So we're going to stick to the program that has proven to be 95% effective. And so that is where a lot of those doses and those appointments are scheduled. We know 21, 28-day period. It doesn't have to be exactly, but give or take a couple days. So you're going to start to see that. So we're getting, which we anticipated when I was dealing, in my discussions with Warp Speed, that as we got towards the end of January, we would see increases in our weekly allotment. And so we're getting about 307,000 initial doses this coming week. It will probably land Monday or Tuesday. Sometimes it doesn't get here till Wednesday. So that allows us to say, okay, we've been doing with the 266. We know we've got the throughput. Where can we put those additional 40,000 doses to be able to be as most effective? And what I try to look at is what percentage of seniors in each area has received a vaccine. There's some parts where we've done really well. I mean, we did Publix in 65 stores in Palm Beach County. They're now #1 for per capita doses because we were able to get use the Publix infrastructure. I think places like this is really going to help Hillsborough. If we do this pod, do this pod 5,000. If we're able to do the next one for the folks across the street, that'll be very helpful as well. So it's really all about putting seniors first, using that as best you can. But we're definitely at a situation where I've got hospitals that have used all their first doses, and they're doing the second doses, which is good, but they can take on more. Some of the sites that we're running, like Hard Rock Stadium, the Villages drive-through, they can expand. A lot of the different, the church program can expand. So 40,000 additional, that is like not going to be the big difference in terms of like, oh, this is a game changer, but it is helpful. we're going to put it to use. And as you see those first doses administered, you are definitely going to start seeing a lot more second doses administered. We're committed to that, and we're going to continue to do it. So all in all, we're really happy that we have over 1 million seniors that have had access to the vaccine, and probably, you know, significantly more than just 1 million with the way the reporting lags in this. And sites like this really help us get the shots in arms in a convenient way. I was happy to see a lot of smiling faces even underneath some of the masks coming in, and we want to keep doing that and keep you know, keep putting seniors first, and that's what we're going to keep doing. With that, I'll take a few questions. Yes, ma'am.
Channel 8, if I could please ask 2 questions, State Governor. First, 47 days ago, you told me that you were not happy with the pace of Rebuild Florida. You've instructed Dane Eagle to fix this. I'm still waiting to hear EEO's plan. So my question for you today, specifically, what is Florida doing to speed up this process and help the summer victims?
So did you see my press conference on Friday in Key Largo? Yeah, we announced $100 million, so it's a great, we can get you that information.
What is being done, though? Like, what are you
Okay.
more people, specifically?
So we announced a huge announcement. I can get you that information. It's very good. The people were very happy. We did a lot on Monroe County, obviously, because they were impacted. But we also had places on the west coast of Florida, on the east coast of Florida. So it was a really great announcement, and I'll have my office get you those details because it shows, you know, Dane, if you read his comments, he talked about, you know, the charge that I gave him, how he's moving it forward, and really this is just the beginning. I mean, there's going to be more that's going to be able to be done. I'll do someone else first. Who else has a question? Yes, sir. Sure.
If you could just level with the seniors who, even amid this ongoing effort to get vaccinated, who are expressing continued frustration, not being able to get through on the phone or online, struggling to get an appointment, some of them getting turned away at first come, first served sites. If you could just level with them and speak to them directly, what would you tell those folks who are continuing to be frustrated?
Well, look, we're putting seniors first, and what I would say is a couple things. One is we have 4.5 million seniors. We have been probably given, you know, a fraction of that in terms of initial doses. So we get more initial doses, we will give more to seniors, there's no doubt about it. But I said from the very beginning, people just need to be patient based on those numbers. I will say, though, that if you look, part of the reason we have more than 1 million seniors and we're at 23% have gotten a shot is because, you know, we have a lot of seniors, obviously, but we put seniors first when other states weren't doing that. So you have some states where if you're 74, the chance of you even getting even on the radar is almost zero. And so Florida, we're putting seniors first. I would tell folks, hang in there because we're not quitting. The goal of seniors first is every senior who wants a shot, we want to get them a shot. Now I'm going to need more shipments of these initial doses to be able to reach. I don't think 4.5 million want it, but I think many of them want it. So hang in there. We're going to keep doing it, but we're doing at a clip now that is great in terms of the seniors, to have over 1 million seniors. Hospitals are doing a good job. These sites are doing a good job. Publix is doing a good job. The throughput is there. If you doubled my doses, we would be able to double it for the seniors. So this is a mission that we're going to continue to be there for them. And, you know, it's great to see the smiling faces. Look, before we did this, there were people here that were frustrated because Publix, for example, you know, they do a great job, but man, there's a lot of demand for this. So they opened up the window for 35,000 slots today across some of these stores. And I think it was at 6 a.m. By 7:30, booked. 35,000 booked in 90 minutes, and that's with them toggling the website. I mean, it takes a little time because so many people are crushing it. So, and so you get on, you get an appointment, great. If you don't, it's like, man, hang in there. There's going to be more opportunities to do it. Publix is opening another window on Friday. We're going to be doing more pods. We're going to keep at it until the seniors are doing it. But we are putting seniors first. We got to get through the seniors before we go to younger, healthier people. And that was my commitment from the very beginning. And we're not going to budge on that commitment until everyone who wants it gets it.
Governor, it seems like you had a tight relationship with the previous White House administration. It seemed like that had some benefits for all of us citizens here in the state of Florida. Moving forward, how do you see your relationship with the new administration, given that, you know, you may be on different sides of the issue?
Look, when it comes time to doing things by Florida, so we've said, for example, they had a bunch of things they were saying with the vaccine, and on my point, and other governors, and Democratic governors have said this too, the overriding thing is just get more doses. We don't need more infrastructure. We don't need that. Let's just get more doses. And so if they're able to deliver that, that would be great. And we want to work constructively with that on being able to vaccinate seniors. Obviously, we've had so many other issues that we work constructively with Washington on. The previous administration was a big supporter of my Everglades initiatives. It really came through for a lot of hurricane victims, have been great with infrastructure and transportation. So we obviously want to continue doing that. At the same time, if they're saying things like there was no plan by the Operation Warp Speed, that is factually false. And when I had probably a dozen calls with other governors over a 3-month period with Warp Speed. I personally met with them multiple times in Washington. I met with Azar, I talked with Azar and Redfield and all these people time and time again. They had a plan, and the delivery of this, we've not had any problem with the delivery. If they say it's coming, it comes. So when they say that, that's just not true. And to me, that's more politics than it is just trying to come together, unify, and get things done. When the person at the White House says that Florida has all these doses, those are second doses. They're suggesting that we should give away people second doses. I think senior citizens in Florida who've gotten the first shot, I think they want to complete the regimen. And so when you see that, look, we'll continue to level with the folks and let them know kind of the real facts on that. But yes, put the politics aside, step up and do it. Part of the reason we had a good relationship with the president was because he was a Florida resident part-time and now full-time. And he understood the state, I think, in ways that other presidents, Republican and Democrat, haven't really done it. But when it comes to vaccinating our seniors, you really need to put politics aside, and you need to do whatever we can to get the shots in the arms. And in Florida, the overriding thing we need is to just continue to get up the dosage so that we can do more of these types of pods all over the state of Florida, and more of the seniors that you're talking about are able to get through, get in line, and get their shots. Let me say, do I have anyone else who?
I have a question. Governor, so there's no doubt that, your seniors were an initiative. We know that seniors are absolutely some of the most vulnerable people when it comes to this virus. But we also know how important it is for the economy to keep schools open at this point, as you said on many occasions. We have so many educators who are standing by waiting to know where they fall in line for this, for the priority list for the vaccine. What can you tell the educators, especially here in Hillsborough County, where it's one of the largest school districts in the country, and we've had thousands and thousands of cases?
So a couple of things. One, they said keep schools open for the economy. I do think it benefits the economy. That's not why we push to open them, though. The reason we push to open them is because having kids in person is better for the kids. And you're seeing that all over this country. The data has been very clear on this since May, that schools are a low-risk environment, and that the risk of keeping kids out of school is catastrophic. You're seeing that in all these places in other parts of the country. We understood the data. There was all these people that were naysayers at the time. We had a lot of folks in Florida, these superintendents that worked really hard, and quite frankly, most of the teachers wanted to get back too, in spite of what some of the interest groups were saying. So we did it, and we're much better off for that. And I think it's important because you have some places, and I don't know if Floridians really appreciate, there are vast swaths of this country where kids have not been in school in person since March of 2020. Unless you're one of the elites, then you send your kid to in-person private school. Well, that doesn't work. And so you're probably now going in a situation where they're not going to be in school until the fall of 2021. That'll be a year and a half of no in-person instruction. The consequences of that are catastrophic. I think it's been the single biggest mistake that any policymakers have made to keep the schools shuttered, and I think it was the right thing to do to open it. Of course we want to give to school districts and police departments, but the risk is lower for all of those groups than it is for our elderly. So we're going to go focus on elderly, focus on the high risk. As we get through this, and as we continue to get all the elderly who wants it, obviously we want to work with our school districts, we want to work with our police departments and sheriff's departments and all that, and work with the private sector too, because there's a lot of private sector folks who want to see their employees have it offered. I'm hoping that the best tool for that will be the approval of the Johnson & Johnson one-dose vaccine, because J&J's vaccine, we think it's going to be pretty effective, maybe not 95, but pretty good. And we actually think it may be more suited to the workforce anyways, but it's obviously much easier. I mean, just think about it. If you have a school district, maybe, yeah, you have a lot of personnel, you do one time, do it, and then you're done. You don't have to worry about scheduling the booster. So I think from an efficiency standpoint, the workforce, the J&J would be a better fit for that. But then also, just the fact that if you did try to do Pfizer or Moderna, for, assuming we finish the seniors, you still have to set up another time to do it. And I think for most folks, if they can get the one dose and then go, then that's what they want to do. So that is going to be, they're going to have data revealed and hopefully an authorization application submitted to FDA this month, or no, probably February. So in February, that'll be there. Obviously, they'll evaluate, but you could see an approval sometime in February, and if they are producing it at the scale that we think that they may be, that will make a really big difference. I mean, you hear numbers about 100 million. I don't know if that's ready, but let's assume it is. That would be enough for Florida for every work, because that would be millions of doses that we would get, and potentially right at the bat. I don't know that that's going to ultimately happen, but that's really, I think, a good thing. So that's what we're looking for on workforce, J&J, and then if we get through seniors, I mean, if I start getting 500,000 initial doses a week, we'll be able to go through that, and then that would be able to get to the seniors who want it. I mean, we're assuming the vast majority of seniors want it. Not 4.5 million, but we do think certainly over 3, and I think probably over 3.5 million will want it. The nursing homes, most of them, the residents want it, but not all of them. Sometimes it's surprising that some of them just don't want the vaccine. Regardless, it's your choice. We're not, I had some folks, I was down in Vero Beach, some folks, they didn't like vaccines. They had signs. That's your choice. We're not mandating it, but if people want it, we want to work to be able to deliver it for them. Okay, we got one more. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so at the beginning of all this, the counties have kind of been in charge of the registration process. We've seen a lot of problems with the websites and the phone bank. Then there was the announcement that there was going to be a statewide registration program put together. What does that look like? How will it work? And when are you thinking that's going to launch?
So what they have two things. So a lot of the sites are doing phone, and we've supported that. And then some of the sites are now doing the web reservations, and we're looking to have that expanded by the end of the week, so that all these sites will be able to do it. And we're also, it raises another issue that the phone and this is fine, but some elderly people, they need some help. And so we've spoken with some of the hospitals, with some of the homebound seniors. I know we're working with it. I've asked my emergency management department to figure out, okay, because we have a bunch of folks that do things that tend to folks who are more homebound anyways, who may be falling through the cracks on that. Most people are pretty proficient with the phone. Not everyone's proficient with the internet, and so we're sensitive to that. At the same time, I think that we've had more success when there's been reservations for folks, because if you don't, then it's just it can get really out of hand. I know a lot of folks were talking about what happened like in December in Lee County. Although I'll tell you, some of the people that waited in that line told me, like, look, I would have waited more. I wanted the shot. I want to get on with my life. So it's interesting, kind of their perspective. But we think that the reservations is a better way to go. So yeah, so some of the areas are using it now. It's going to be expanded by the end of the week, and then we do have the phone reservations going on as well, which is very difficult when you have this many volumes of calls, but it does give people a different way to be able to do. And if we are expanding some of these sites, obviously you may be in a situation where they've booked out, and then they'll be able to go back and say, hey, we have another 500 spots for Tuesday, and then people will be able to call or get online and do it. So that's what we're looking to do, trying to bring it to all facets, all corners of the state. And I think that I think that there's a lot of different options for people now, between the retail pharmacy, Publix, between hospitals who did a really good job over the last couple of weeks of moving through it. Most of them have gotten through all their first doses. And, so we'll look to figure out what we can do to be helpful with that, and the small amount of additional doses that we're getting week over week, but we want more, and we're prepared to do more. We may see you guys next week right here if we are able to get the folks across the street, so I look forward to that, and I will definitely see you Super Bowl week. I wouldn't miss that one for the world. Thanks, everybody.